Hello students, I am Suman Dua from Anthropology Department, University of Delhi. Today I am going to speak on the module Introduction to Physiology of Human Reproduction from the paper Demographic Anthropology. The learning objectives of the module are to understand the primary and secondary human reproductive organs, to understand the role of hormones in the formation of male and female gametes, to understand the process of oogenesis in females and spermatogenesis in males, to understand the role of each reproductive organ in facilitating fertilization, to understand the process of fertilization. Reproductive fitness is the one of the governing factors for the survival of any species, the task for which is assigned to reproductive system. Broadly, 4 functions are allocated to the reproductive system to produce the basic unit of reproduction, that is gametes, to sustain and transport these gametes to their right place during the process, to help sustain the viable offspring or fetus, and to produce hormones that help in proper functioning maturation of reproductive organs. These functions are divided between primary and secondary reproductive organs. Primary reproductive organs, also called as gonads, are responsible for the production of gametes, for example, egg and sperm cells and hormones. The hormones produced by the primary reproductive organs help in the maturation and regulation of normal physiology of the reproductive system and development of sexual characteristics. The secondary reproductive organs assist in transportation of the gametes and sustainability or nurture of the offspring, and these include ducts, glands and other organs such as uterus and penis. Female reproductive system. The female reproductive system is assigned to produce egg or the ova and reproductive hormones, transport the ova to the site where it may be fertilized by the sperm. Apart from this, it also has an additional task of supporting the developing fetus and delivering it to the outside world. Figure 1 shows the section of the female reproductive system in human. The source of the figure has been given. The female reproductive system includes the ovaries, fallopian tubes, uterus, vagina, accessory glands and external genital organs. 1.1 shows the external genital organs. The external female genital organs or the vulva is located outside the pelvic cavity. The vulva collectively comprises of monopubis, labia majora, labio minora, clitoris, hymen and Bartholin's glands. The vulva contains numerous sweat and oil glands, and the secretions from these glands help in sexual arousal. Figure 2 shows the frontal view of vulva. The vagina is a muscular canal that serves as an entry point for the sperm during sexual intercourse and an exit point from the uterus during menstrual flow and childbirth. The vagina is surrounded by vulva on the outside. Ovaries. The ovaries are the female gonads that produce the egg or the ovum. Ovum is the mature female germ cell ready for reproduction or ready to receive the sperm, whereas the immature ovum is called as oocyte. The group of an oocyte and its supporting cells is called a follicle. The production of egg cells in a ovary is called as oogenesis, whereas the release of the mature ovarian follicle, which is ready to receive sperm, is called ovulation. Now, what is an ovarian cycle? Ovarian cycle is a set of conventional changes during the women's reproductive years, which occur in the oocytes and ovarian follicles over a span of approximately 28 days. The cycle includes 2 interrelated processes: oogenesis, that is the production of ovum, and follicogenesis, the growth and development of ovarian follicles. Oogenesis, the process of gamete formation in females is called as oogenesis and begins with the formation of oogonia during fetal development. The oogonia form the primary oocytes in the fetal ovary prior to birth. The primary oocytes are arrested in the meiosis I stage and resume at the beginning of puberty, continuing till menopause. The release of oocyte from the ovary marks the initiation of reproductive maturity for a female from puberty. Ovulation occurs in a vicious cycle of approximately 28 days. Prior to ovulation, an increase in the luteinizing hormone initiates the resumption of meiosis in a primary oocyte, therefore producing a secondary oocyte. This is represented in figure 3. Figure 3 shows the gametogenesis in a female, that is oogenesis. During this cell division, during meiosis, identical cells are not formed as in meiosis. The cytoplasm is divided unequally, resulting into a large cell, the secondary oocyte, and a much smaller cell called the polar body, which eventually disintegrates. Therefore, at the end of the meiosis cycle of an oocyte, 4 cells are formed, but only one survives and leaves the ovary during ovulation. Meiosis of the secondary oocyte is completed only if a sperm successfully penetrates the secondary oocyte. Meiosis II is resumed and one haploid ovum produced at the instant of fertilization by sperm haploid becomes the first cell of the zygote, as shown in figure 4. Figure 4 shows the process of meiosis, fertilization and mitosis that maintains diploidy in a zygote. The large amount of cytoplasm in the ovum provides the necessary nutrients to the newly formed zygote during the period between fertilization in a fallopian tube and implantation in the uterus. The sperm contributes only the DNA, that is the genetic material, during fertilization and not the cytoplasm. Fallopian tubes or uterine ducts. The fallopian tubes or uterine tubes or oviducts serve as a channel for the transfer of oocyte from the ovary to the uterus. With each ovary transcends a fallopian tube that connects to the uterus, though the tubes are not directly connected to it. After the ovulation, the secondary oocyte is released into the peritoneal cavity from where the fallopian tube receives the oocyte. The inner layer of the fallopian duct is lined with mucus-secreting ciliated cells. The cells beat in the direction of the uterus and facilitate the movement of oocyte. High concentrations of estrogen during the time of ovulation induce muscular contractions along the entire length of fallopian tube. These contractions coordinate the movement and eventually the zygote is pulled down the fallopian tube. आपने ऊपर कर दिया. During fertilization, the sperm meets the egg while it is still actually moving through the ampulla of the fallopian tube. If fertilization is successful, the resulting zygote starts dividing and makes its way through the fallopian tube and gets transplanted in the uterus at a 72 cell stage. If the ovum is not fertilized, it degrades in the fallopian tube or uterus where it may be discarded during the next menstrual period, shown in figure 5. So, figure 5 shows you the fallopian tubes where the fertilization occurs and the movement of fertilized eggs towards the uterus. The uterus and the cervix. The uterus is the muscular organ where the 72 cell zygote or the blastula is implanted. The uterus nourishes and supports the growing embryo during the pregnancy till parturition. The uterine wall is made up of 3 layers. The outermost layer is called perimetrium, which consists of epithelial tissue that covers the exterior of the uterus. The middle layer, myometrium, is a thick layer of smooth muscle responsible for uterine contractions. The innermost layer is the endometrium, which lines the lumen of the uterus and is shed during the menstrual flow. During follicular phase of the ovarian cycle, estrogen is secreted by mature follicles. At the same time, the endometrium thickens and prepares itself for potential implantation. After ovulation, progesterone hormone increases during the luteal phase and maintains the thickness of the endometrium. Till the time functional corpus luteum is present, the endometrium is prepared for any implantation. If implantation occurs, signals are sent to corpus luteum to maintain endometrium by secreting progesterone, and if the embryo does not implant, this signal ceases and declines the production of progesterone, thus marking the end of the luteal phase. This results in endometrium thinning and the spiral arteries of the endometrium constrict and rupture, thereby preventing oxygenated blood from reaching the endometrial tissue. As a result, endometrial tissue dies and endometrial lining along with the white blood cells are shed through the vagina during menstruation. The cervix is the anterior opening of the uterus that connects to the vagina. It is through cervix that the full developed fetus is expelled out, which comes out of the body through the vaginal opening. Now we will learn about the male reproductive system. The function of the male reproductive system is to produce the male gamete and transfer it to the female reproductive tract. Unlike females, the male reproductive system is located outside the body, around the pelvic region. The human male reproductive system consists of organs whose function is to contribute towards reproductive process and constitutes a pair of testes, several accessory organs and conductory ducts that aid in the process of sperm maturation, transport and seminal components to the penis, which delivers the sperm to the female reproductive tract. Figure 6. The figure 6 shows the male reproductive system. The first part is the scrotum. The sperm producing organ, that is testes, are placed in a muscular sac-like structure called the scrotum that extends from the body behind the penis. Scrotum is located outside the body and it keeps the testis at almost 3 to 13 degrees C below the core body temperature for efficient production and viability of the sperm. The second organ is testes. The testes are the male gonads and the primary site for the production of sperm and androgens. Androgens are the male sex hormones and remain active throughout life. The produced sperm is released into the lumen of the seminiferous tubules, from where the sperm passes into a duct called the epididymis via dated testes. Inside the seminiferous tubules, there are supporting cells called the Sertoli cells and developing germ cells or sperm cells. Seminiferous tubule, where figure 7 shows the seminiferous tubule where Sertoli and sperm cells are released into seminiferous lumen. Then we will know about what are Sertoli cells. The Sertoli or sustencular cells are elongate branching cells that secrete signaling molecules that promote sperm production. The tight junction between Sertoli cells helps create blood testis barrier and keeps blood-borne substances from germ cells. The basement membrane of the tubule is lined by the most immature cells, that is spermatogonia or spermatogonium. The spermatogonia divide to produce primary spermatocytes and secondary spermatocytes, which mature into next stage to form spermatids and finally produce sperm. The process of the formation of a mature sperm from spermatogonia is called as spermatogenesis. Spermatogenesis occurs in the seminiferous tubules in testes and continues throughout the life of a male after puberty. A complete cycle of the formation of mature sperm cell from spermatogonia takes approximately 64 days, though this time is not synchronized across all seminiferous tubules. Spermatogenesis begins with a mitotic division of a diploid spermatogonia, and the daughter cells of this undergo meiotic division, resulting into a haploid male gamete, as shown in figure 8. Figure 8 shows the process of spermatogenesis in human male. Spermatogonial stem cell undergoes a mitotic division, resulting into two identical diploid daughter cells, one of which remains a spermatogonia and the other becomes a primary spermatocyte. The primary spermatocyte undergoes meiotic 1 division like mitosis and produces two identical diploid cells called as secondary spermatocyte. These secondary spermatocytes undergo meiosis 2 division and produce 4 haploid cells called spermatids. The spermatids undergo a process of maturation, that is spermiogenesis, with reduced cytoplasm and further transformation into a sperm. The fifth and the last stage of spermatogenesis in the portion of the tubule nearest the lumen result into spermatozoa or sperm, which is eventually released into the lumen, moves into the duct called epididymis. Then comes the process sperm transport. The sperm released into the seminiferous tubules is transported into the ductular epididymis and then into penis to be put into the female reproductive tract. Epididymis, the immotile sperm cells are moved to epididymis where the maturation of sperm cells takes place. The sperm enters the head of the epididymis and move along by the contraction of smooth muscles that line epididymal tubules. During this course of movement, the sperm matures further and becomes motile. The mature sperm cells are then stored in the tail of the epididymis until ejaculation occurs through the penis glands. Sperms make up only 5% of the final volume of semen, the thick milky fluid that a male ejaculates. The bulk of semen is produced by 3 accessory glands of the male reproductive system: the seminal vesicles, the prostate, the bulbourethral glands. The seminal vesicles. The seminal vesicles are aired glands that contribute approximately 60% of the semen volume. The semen from seminal vesicles contains fructose, sperm mitochondria to generate ATP during its movement through the female reproductive tract. This fluid that contains both sperm and secretions from seminal vesicles is then transported to the next structure of male reproductive system, that is the prostate gland. Prostate gland secretes a milky alkaline fluid to the passing seminal fluid or semen, which is critical for the coagulation and decoagulation of the semen following the ejaculation. This temporary thickening of semen helps retain it in the female reproductive tract and provides time to the sperm for utilization of fructose provided by the seminal vesicle secretions. When the semen regains its fluid state, the sperm can then pass into the female reproductive tract. Bulbourethral glands. The paired bulbourethral glands or the Cooper's glands add to the final volume of the semen. It releases a thick salty fluid that helps in the lubrication of the male urethral end and the female vagina. It helps to clean any residues in the urethra. Bulbourethral glands. The paired bulbourethral glands add to the final volume of the semen. It releases a thick salty fluid that helps in the lubrication of the male urethral end and the female vagina. It also helps to clean any urine residues from the penile urethra. The fluid from these glands is released only after a male becomes sexually aroused and shortly before the release of semen. This fluid is also called the pre-ejaculate penis. The penis is the male organ of the copulation. It is the flaccid for actions such as urination but turgid and rod-like during sexual arousal. During sexual arousal, it becomes erect and this erectness allows it to penetrate into the female vagina and deposit semen into the female reproductive tract. The other end of the penis towards exterior, called as the glans penis, has high concentration of nerve endings, influences the likelihood of ejaculation. Penile erection is a result of vasodilation because of more arterial blood flowing into the penis than leaving through the veins. There is an increased blood flow to the penis resulting into penile erection. Testosterone. Testosterone, or the male sex hormone, and androgen is a steroid hormone produced by Leydig cells in the testes and activates characteristic physical changes in men and initiates spermatogenesis. Low levels of this may lead to male infertility. Small amounts of testosterone are also secreted in females, most of which is converted to estradiol, the female sex hormone. A small amount of testosterone is also secreted by adrenal glands in both males and females to maintain blood pressure hemostasis. Let us summarize the module. Male reproductive system is located exterior to human body and female is placed inside the body. Gametes are reproductive units that fuse to form an offspring. The organs that produce gametes are called gonads. Male gametes are called sperm and female gametes are called ovum or egg. The process of formation of male and female gamete is called spermatogenesis and oogenesis respectively. The primary site for the production of sperm is testis and the ovum is ovary. Female sex hormone is called estradiol and male sex hormone is called testosterone. Vagina serves as an entry point for the sperm and exit point for the fetus. The male organ of copulation or intercourse is penis. Fertilization occurs in fallopian tubes and implantation occurs in the uterus. Semen consists of sperm and seminal fluid that helps in lubrication of the urethral gland in male and vagina in females during copulation. Termination of menstrual cycle in females is called menopause and marks the end of the reproductive lifespan. In males, the production of sperm continues throughout the lifespan but reduces after the age of 35 years. Female infertility, if marked by cessation of viable ovum production due to imbalance in LH, FSH and progesterone levels, whereas in males, the low levels of testosterone may lead to infertility. Thank you.